Hello, my sunshines, and welcome back to another episode of the Creating Sunshine podcast. My name is Sarah. I'm your host, and I am joined today by Meg. And Meg and I just recently met within the past couple months. She is in the mastermind that I'm in, House of Influence. And I feel like we have such a great mix of women in that group, and we all became like quick, fast. And I love when that happens. And I tell people all the time, like when I join these groups, it's not just for business, like it's for life and business, right? And I think that sometimes, like when everybody's in alignment, like we just support each other through all seasons. And I'm so happy to bring you to the show today and all the things we're going to learn from you. So, welcome to the show, Meg.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And yeah, I really feel like our whole group of ladies in the mastermind, we were like all meant to be it together. It's crazy.
I know I love that. I love when it comes together like that. And now we're talking
Mhm.
about meeting in person in October. And I'm so
I
excited.
can't wait. I can't wait. I'm really excited.
I know. And Meg now, well, Meg used to live in San Diego. So when I was like,
Mhm.
wait, you're a San Diego girly too? But now where do you live?
I'm in Atlanta now. San
I
Diego
know
will
we were
always
talking
have
through
my
the
heart.
DMs. I'm like, Atlanta? I was
You're
like,
like,
what the
why?
heck? But we're going to dive into Meg's story a little bit and about what she does and why she does it. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is when I bring people on, I don't just want to talk about what you do and how you help people now, but I really love how you got there and your reason behind it and your why behind it. Because I've found, especially for myself, is like your why is what makes it so much more important, right? Your why is what makes it it's what makes people connect to you. It's what makes people resonate with you. And, yours is fitness and health. And I think that a lot of people can resonate with that and resonate with a lot of the reasons of why you got started. And I know in reading through all of your forms and everything, it says that you found lifting weights like during one of the hardest seasons of your life. And I wanted to know if, I mean, we're just going to rip the band aid and just start right there and talk about what made you get started for your own personal journey before you even started helping women with this.
Yeah. So, like you said, I found lifting when my mom had passed away. And I had always, I've struggled with body dysmorphia, disordered eating, and I was always trying to be as small as possible. So I would have like spurts of like going on runs and just like doing things like that to keep myself small. And I had always wanted to be the type of person that had a fitness routine, but it never stuck for me. Actually, so funny, Jessica Bergio, who leads our mastermind, I was an assistant of hers back in the day when I was doing hair. And I would watch her foiling, and she has been lifting forever. She's competing in bodybuilding. And I was always like, man, this girl is so strong. I want to be like that. But I could never get there. I couldn't make it happen. And after my mom passed, I was newly sober. I had this gym membership collecting dust, and there was just something in me just said, go lift weights. I couldn't tell you. It was just this knowing. I didn't know what to do with myself, especially like grieving, being sober, navigating all of that. I was a brand new business owner, and I just started lifting, and it ended up transforming me in so many ways, just beyond helping me through a difficult season. It's transformed me so much that this is my life now.
I love that. And I think a lot, and I say the term all the time or the phrase all the time, but it's literally turning your pain into purpose,
Yes,
right? And
true.
and and I think I've changed my mind in saying that I feel like everything happens for a reason because I really don't. I think there's some really shitty things that happen in life and there's no reason for it,
Yeah.
but I do think that there's a lesson in everything. And I think that you can just what you're going to do with that lesson. You can decide, like, you said that your mom passed. Did you decide that you're going to stay stuck in the grief? And of course, I'm sure that's something that she wouldn't want for you, or are you going to harness that grief and harness that energy and turn it into something, and you did, and you turned it into something beautiful, not only for yourself, but now for other women too.
Feel that so much. So actually my dad had passed away some years before my mom. I lost him to cancer, and when he passed away, I kind of went into like zombie mode. I didn't process anything. I really was just on autopilot. I definitely was processing with alcohol for sure. And when my mom passed, I knew I had to do it differently. I was like, I
Mm.
can't keep living my life this way. And something I always tell people is like losing my mom is the hardest thing I've ever gone through. And I miss her dearly every day. But it's also her death gave me so many gifts. And like you said, I made the choice to find the lessons in that.
Yeah, I love that. And the fact that you recognize, like, okay, I did this way with one parent.
Mm.
I'm not going to do it this way with another parent. And I think that that's a really powerful choice. And for everybody listening, I talk a lot about the hard things that you've been through in your life. And unfortunately, it's not the last hard thing that we're ever gonna go through,
Mhm.
right? But I think that we have a choice to decide how we're gonna move through that hard thing, that we have a choice to decide not only how we're gonna show up during that, but after that, you know? And I think a lot of people, until they realize that, they kind of feel powerless, you know, like you said with your dad, that you went into zombie mode because we don't know how to process the emotions and process the feelings and everything. So I think a big part, it's natural for us to like numb out, right?
Mhm.
Because it's easier to do that than
Mhm.
to actually feel it. But now, even for myself, knowing is like, okay, feeling it does suck. It really, really does. But once you feel it and you move through it, you actually feel like you can move not on, because you're never going to move on from what's
No.
happened to you, right? But at least to move in a forward motion rather than staying stuck in it. Because I had a lot of things that happened in my life and it was the same way. It was like, let's just numb out. Let's not talk about it. Let's put a
Mhm.
mask on. Let's act like everything's okay. But it was always there, right? Like lurking under the surface.
Yeah, and you never really how can you ever fully heal from something? And healing doesn't mean it goes away and the pain's never there, but I like you said, healing allows you to, like you can carry it easier, some days easier than others, but if you never fully address it, you're never going to heal from it, and it's always gonna drag you down until eventually it's like tapping you on the shoulder, like, "We're not going anywhere." And I can't tell you how many times, I mean, going to the gym after my mom passed away, I cried so many times in the gym, like, thank God for dark lighting the gym because I was in there just, like, crying while I was lifting weights. It was just I didn't know how to process after spending so much time not processing and covering my feelings up with alcohol. I was so raw. I was just in the gym crying just in my feels.
Well, I'm sure you're not the first, and you probably won't be the
No.
last.
Yeah.
I'm sure it happens more than we think, right?
Yeah.
But also, you know, you talk a lot about, you said that you always wanted to be like so small, right?
Mhm.
And kind of being at war with your body for a little bit. So how at what point do you think that you shifted from feeling that way to actually like loving your body? I'm sure it wasn't overnight, but was
Yeah.
there actually a turning point where you were like, wow, like I don't feel that way anymore?
Yeah, it's I love this question. I've spent so much time at war with my body. I mean, I remember I first started, disordered eating in middle school. I first started experiencing body dysmorphia around then. And I just spent so much time hating my body and punishing myself. And it definitely wasn't overnight. It wasn't like, oh, I started lifting and I healed myself. It really was very slow over time. And actually, when I first started dating my boyfriend, we talked about my body dysmorphia and we talked about it. He was aware I would like body check and do all of that. And as I got more into my like lifting journey, I remember it was like probably a couple summers ago, it just hit me, and I just said to him, I was like I think maybe it was like I was trying on shorts or something, and I was like, "Oh my god, I don't hate myself anymore." Like, I don't hate myself, and that doesn't mean that I still don't have days where, like I think we all have those days where maybe we don't love what we're seeing and we pick
Yeah.
ourselves apart, but I now know that that's not a reflection of this body, that's a reflection of what's going on up here, and I think this is why I'm so passionate about self love and helping other women discover self love through lifting. Because I think lifting, first of all, I'm no longer focused on the size of my body. I want to be strong and I can't be in a really small body, not feeding myself if I want to be strong. But now I'm more impressed by what my body can do than what it looks like.
Oh, I love that. Well, and I think a lot of women, we talked about this before we hit record, they're thinking like, if I do strength training, like I'm going to get big and I'm going to get bulky and that they don't want to look like that. And I think like obviously that's a huge myth, right?
I
So,
wish it was true. I'm like, where's the bulk? I've been trying for years. Like, I want to be a muscle mommy. Let's go. And it's taking
right.
years.
Right. And I was telling you, actually, I mean, it's not just for, you know, the aesthetic look of it, but the health benefits that strength training has. You know, like I told you that I asked my oncologist when she was giving me the, hey, you're all clear, the cancer is gone, but here's what we need to look for because here's where it can come back, here's how it can come back. And so, of course, my first reaction is like, okay, so what can I do to make sure that doesn't happen? And the first thing she told me was strength training at least 3 days a week to keep your bones strong, to keep your body strong. So, I mean, maybe we can speak to a little bit of the health benefits of actually strength training other than just the aesthetic of it.
And that's, I think, so many people, I think there is that narrative, and I'm here for it, that like to have the body you're trying to achieve, you don't need to be doing cardio, you need to be doing to lift weights because it shapes your body. And that's great. If aesthetics gets you into lifting, awesome. But I want you to stay in lifting because of the health benefits. And like I don't believe that fitness is a one size fits all journey. But I do believe, and this is the hill that I will die on, I think all women should be lifting weights. And like you spoke to, I mean, it's incredible that your oncologist recommended that for all of us who are going through perimenopause and menopause, lifting helps offset everything that we're going to go through. Like so many things, lifting checks all the boxes. It helps with cognitive decline. Having strong legs is one of the biggest predictors of longevity for females, especially. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I could list 100 reasons why why would at then that point it's like, why wouldn't you lift?
Right.
Like
There's literally
magic.
nothing bad that comes from it.
Yeah,
Like only good things
yeah,
come from it.
absolutely.
But
Especially
also
as we get older. It's so important.
it is, it really is. And I know I've probably been more consistent with my workouts this past year than I have been probably ever in my life, if I'm being honest. I had the little like, yeah, I went to the gym in my 20s with my sister
Mhm.
or whatever. But then, that fell off and then I had kids, and nothing was ever really like that consistent. But now to me, it's just such a bigger reason, like this is so freaking important to me now. I don't think it's dramatic to say, like, to me now I feel like it's life or death. I
Yes.
feel like if I don't work out, and I think that more people really need to have that idea behind them. Like, you don't understand how much longer you can live if you actually live a healthy life.
100%. And I truly believe, like, both of my parents were 57 when they passed away. I truly believe your health is the greatest asset you can own above all else. And I think one of the best things you can do for your health is lift weights. And I think
100%.
it's so overwhelming. And I understand, especially if you're coming from a place where like you don't even have a foundation of a healthy lifestyle. It's like, oh, I have to lift weights and I get in my water and my sleep and my food. But I'm like, no, no, don't worry about anything else. Just go start lifting and then everything else will fall into place. Start there. If
Right.
that's my number one thing, go lift.
Right. Well, and then the other thing, we talked a lot about is obviously is your nutrition comes along with that, right? And
Hmm.
you coach people on that as well. And so you personally, you're a vegan. You've been
Hmm.
a vegan for like I would read for like 15 years,
Hmm.
but you also understand that that's not for everybody.
Hmm.
So how would you like if a woman comes into your world and maybe she doesn't know where to start or she doesn't know what her options are and you're just kind of trying to tell her the different things, like how do you coach women on like plant-based nutrition but with still holding that space and understanding like, look, I get it that maybe this isn't for you, but like let's make some other healthy swaps.
I love this question because being vegan is what works for me. But I don't think it's realistic for everybody. And I think there's a lot of militantism that comes in the vegan community, unfortunately. And I am here for anyone who is plant curious. I truly believe that plants and incorporating more plants and plant based protein is so beneficial for so many reasons for our health, but I don't think it's realistic to say that everybody should go vegan. And that's why I love working with women of all different types of diets. I have some women who are totally plant based, some eat a lot of meat, and they come to me wanting to incorporate more plants. And that's what I'm all about, and doing it in a way. Because I always tell clients too, like nutrition is such a sticky spot in our health and fitness because it's not just fuel. It's so many things. It's comfort, it's connection, it's nostalgia, it's delicious. And so to tell somebody this is how you should eat, it's just I don't believe that, but I'm here to help incorporate more. So I have clients that'll be like, oh, I had one client recently who was like, I want to eat more beans. Like, can you send me some like bean dense salad recipes? Great, I got you. Well, I need to eat less red meat. Do you have any protein options? So I love giving them choices that they can explore on their own and find ways to incorporate it for themselves in a way that works for them.
Okay. I love that. So in your coaching with women, you help with diet and fitness.
Yeah, it's like a whole body approach. And I feel like for a lot of clients, we start with the training and building that consistency of routine. And I leave the door open for them when they're ready to have those conversations of like, okay, now I'm ready to tackle nutrition because it is there's a lot of moving parts with that, and I think if we start overhauling everything, it can be really overwhelming, and my whole philosophy as a coach is, like, I want you to be building long-term habits that you can carry on without me, and if we I can tell you what to do for 8 weeks and you're really motivated, but if it's too strict, you'll fall off. So if you learn how to incorporate this for yourself in a way that works for you, because again, it's not one size fits all.
For sure. Well, and for yourself, once you started doing this, you kind of made a midlife career pivot, right?
Mhm.
And so to become a personal trainer, to become a coach, and I too have just made this life pivot in January. And I know how scary it felt for me, but like for you, what was the scariest part of that leap? And maybe a woman listening is like, I kind of feel like I want to do this too. Like, what would you say to her who she's kind of at this crossroads and she's like, I feel like I have this gift, but then I'm still staying over here?
It's all scary. All the parts are scary, but actually, the biggest thing that keeps me going forward on the scary days and that helped me make that leap when I was really kind of making that decision is my mom always said, follow your bliss. It's a Joseph Campbell quote. And she always said, that's the secret to a happy life, follow your bliss. And I'm so grateful that that's a lesson she imprinted on me. And that's what I think about on those hard days of like, this is me following my bliss. And I'm so aware of how short life is. I don't want to, I'll do the scary thing if that means getting me out of the discomfort of being miserable and on autopilot just because it's the safe thing to do.
I literally, before we hit record, I literally just posted a reel about this, about the one lesson that I have learned, not the one, one of the many lessons I've learned this past year and a half is just like that life is too short.
Yeah.
It's too short to not go after your dreams and your goals and all the things you desire. And I was actually just telling a friend yesterday because my oldest daughter, who she's now 12, but when she was 10, I think I've had her on the podcast like 4 times now. And when she was 10, we did this really cute like 10 questions with a 10-year-old or
Mhm.
something along those lines, right? I think it was that episode. And when I was asking her, because she's really like, she's just really brave and she really goes for it. And when she wants to do something, she's a theater kid and she likes to sing. And she's fine with being the soloist on stage. And it's just incredible to watch her out there.
Yeah.
And I asked her for the first time that she was on stage, I was like, how did you like get over the fear of it, and just actually go for the thing? And I share this all the time because I'm so blown away that she was only 10 and said this. And she goes, mom, because I feel like if you try and you fail, you're never going to end up back exactly where you were because you're always going to learn something.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was like, "Oh my god, that is just so amazing." And I feel like I carry that with me now because like you said, I'm going to go do the uncomfortable scary thing. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But then at least I know because I think the bigger thing for me was living not only with regret, but living with what if.
Mm.
Like, I
Mhm.
didn't wanna live with what if anymore. Like, well,
Mhm.
dang, what if I woulda done that? What if I woulda said the thing? What if I woulda tried? What if, right? I'm not gonna, like, what if at the end of my days. So, I
Yeah.
think that really and like you said, when things like that happen, it's like you realize the fragility of life. You realize that, like, damn, life really is short and you never know what's gonna happen. So, I know when I get to the end, I'm gonna be like, "Well, she went for every damn thing that she wanted."
Absolutely. Like, why not try? Why not? And you might have failures, but I also don't believe there is such a thing as failure. That's just feedback. Again, it's perspective. The same way we can make choices about how things happen to us and we can get stuck in it or get the lesson from it. A failure is just telling you you're not going in the right direction. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's true. Well, in your brand, like when you talk about literally, we said like mind, body, soul, right? Like
Mhm.
you said, you can look great on the outside, but feel like shit on the inside. Like it's not going to be sustainable. And at the end of the day, you can get the body that you want, but it's not going to make you happy. So for you, like when you talk about self love, but what does self-love look like on a hard day? Like on a day when like motivation's not there, when you're feeling really sad about your mom, like and you just don't feel like doing it. Like how do you show your self-love on those days and keep freaking going?
That's a great question. I love that. Because that's the thing is it ebbs and flows and it's not always going to be, it's like, not like once you have it, it's always there. You can tap into it, but it's still a process. And I think what that looks like on hard days is leaning into the things that make me feel good, the basics of like moving my body, whether it's getting to the gym or going for a walk, eating nourishing food. And by nourishing, maybe sometimes that is actual nourishment, but maybe sometimes it's ice cream. It's just like giving yourself, you need that energy. And then also on those days where it's really hard, giving yourself grace of like, I am just going to have a moment and I do just need to cry and be in my feels a little bit. But on the flip side, also, I lean on those people who can hold up the mirror for me when I am having those hard days and not feeling great about myself. And that's part of the work I think about self love too, is being vulnerable and sharing with other people and saying to someone that you trust and that loves you, hey, I'm having a hard day. I'm feeling this type of way. And if you have those right people in your corner, they can say to you, this is why you're great. This is why I love you. You do all these things to kind of help lift yourself up when you're having a hard time doing that for yourself.
See, and that brings us right to community,
Mm,
which I think is huge for people. And you know what? Maybe there's somebody out there that they've been trying to do this journey on their own and it hasn't
mhm,
really been working for them. I mean, I think I know both of you and I realize the importance of investing in yourself and hiring somebody because at the end of the day, really, someone else in your corner is going to help you get there faster than you could get there by yourself, right?
mhm,
Because I told somebody the other day, I'm like, I'm just going to tell you, like, the tough love is that if you were going to do it by yourself, you probably would have already done it.
mhm,
Right? But I think to speak to the people that they don't have that type of support in their life, they don't have those types of relationships, like what it looks like actually going out there and finding a community or a coach, or a trainer that's actually going to hold the space for you that you need. And also, it's a big part of it is accountability. Right.
mhm,
To hold you to do the things that you said you're going to do. Because I think sometimes the people in your life, I heard so much last year is like, you just need to give yourself grace. You just need to take time. You just need to rest. And like, I know they were coming from a place of love, but also I needed somebody to kind of kick me in the ass. So on the days that I felt good, it's like, you can keep going. You can
mhm.
do more, and sometimes the people that are closest to you, I don't think they're the right people to tell you that.
Absolutely, and I feel this on so many levels. I mean, being in the mastermind has been incredible because I realized there's so much loneliness in entrepreneurship, and having a group of women supporting each other and lifting each other up is so powerful, especially when you're in this scary space of being new in a career pivot. But as a coach too, I actually hired a coach for myself last year. I know what to do. I'm a coach. This is my job. And I just couldn't. I was really depressed. I was having a hard time. I needed that accountability to get me to the gym. And honestly, sometimes even beyond the accountability of someone pushing you, spending that money can be accountability too, of
Yeah.
like, I am paying for this. I'm going to show up and make it worth my investment. There's so many different levels to it. But I think we live in this world where it's like you can Google anything and you can find whatever you need online. And I think we've lost the plot a little bit of how important community is. You can't do things alone. You need community. It's so important. And I think success isn't a one man job, it takes a whole village to get there.
Right. ChatGPT is not gonna give you the support and
No.
accountability that you need. Well, and also, I always say, everything that I have is not a good idea. Like, it is the most, like, positive version, like, "That's amazing." I'm like, "No, that's trash," and I need someone to tell me that that's trash. Like, stop telling me, like, "Can you be a little bit" like my daughter asks hers, like, "I want you to give me the unhinged version." I don't
Yes,
even
I
know what
love
that
it.
means,
Yes, we all
but
need
it'll
an
be coming out
unhinged
with these
BFF.
crazy things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's such a huge point is like, yes, you can look anything up. You can create your own workout plans. You can create your own nutrition plans. Like, yes, you can do all of that. But when it comes to support and accountability, that is when you hire somebody because they're actually going to be the one like calling you, texting you,
Mhm.
messaging you, like, hey, it's time to show up. I'm at the gym. Where you at? Like all those things. And like, that's what we need. And we need, especially when we're stepping into a new chapter of our life, we need to surround ourselves with people that are doing the things that we want to do, right? Because at the
Yes.
end of the day, you're not going to change who you are if you're still continuing the same habits with the same people with the same routines. It's not going to happen.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing too, is like our goals and also our plans for hitting our goals don't exist in a vacuum, and life is going to happen. And I think that's really where community or a coach comes in, because that's, I think, where people fall off is they hit a challenge, it gets
Yeah.
difficult, and then they fall off. And that's where you have that community support or a coach to be like, okay, you're not stuck. We just have to figure out a workaround here. And it can feel overwhelming to do that on your own. But if you have that other person to help guide you along the way, it feels less scary and it helps to remove that resistance.
100%. And I know for myself at the beginning of this year, like I had told Jess, I said it was more different people than I had ever invested in, but I had this light bulb moment of shit, one person can't be for everything, right?
Ah,
So my business coach can't be my fitness coach, can't be my, it's like, and it's the same with, I think, relationships and
yes.
friendships and everything. Like that one person can't be everything. Like I have my supportive friend that's going to like cheer me on all day, but then I have my listening friend who's just going to sit there and just let me vent and not try to fix it. And
Mhm.
I think the more that we realize that, so I told her at the beginning of the year, I said I had her one on one and I had a fitness program I was in, I had a speaking program I was in, I had a group program. And I was like, I did start to get a little bit overwhelmed with how many things I had joined, like, let's be honest. But it was a big eye opener for me because I needed all those different things in my life at that time. And even to speak to the fitness coaching that I did, and I had a point where I was going to have another surgery. And having her helped me get through that so much, not only because she paused the program for me for like a month, and which I thought was so incredibly kind of her because I
Mhm.
was on a weight restriction. And then as soon as it was time for the program to get started again, she completely tailored it for me, which
Yes.
is not what you're going to get when you're sitting here Googling it and looking it up. But her partnered along with my physical therapy. I recovered from that surgery so much faster than any of the other three surgeries that I had last year because I had a coach, because I had somebody helping me, because someone that understood my specific life and
Mm.
what I needed, not just what I chose to plug into ChatGPT, right?
And they can kind of have that higher level view and that experience. Like, this is your first time going through that, but a coach can say, okay, I'm anticipating the challenges and how we're going to modify. And I think that's the really cool thing about having a coach too. Like, I have a few clients right now that are dealing with some unexpected things. And that's why I always tell them, I'm like, it's great to have a coach when life is peachy, but really, it's awesome having a coach when you have these surprise challenges. Lean on me. I can make modifications so that you can still fit this in a way that works for what you're going through. And then you can recover that much faster.
And what kind of, because you have a couple certifications, a couple trainings that you did for this, right? It's you. So tell me a little bit about those and how it better like enables you when a woman is coming to you and she's having, because I think a lot of women, like you said, they get stuck, they've fallen off or whatever. And maybe a lot of women like you, they were having, the body image issues.
Mhm.
So how do your trainings and your certifications that you have help you better address like the mental and emotional side of coaching and body image and everything to really not just the physical aesthetic of like, okay, we're going to
Mhm.
lift because we want to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah, so actually I'm the type of person where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. I need to know all of the things. So when I left my beauty industry career to get my certifications, I was like, I'm not just going to do one. I'm going to do 3. And the best one that I did was one, it's through Precision Nutrition. I'm a level 2 master certified health coach, and that is all about mindset and behavior coaching, and it really taught me how to be a client centered coach, meeting clients where they're at, helping them with their behavior and mindset, but also not making them wrong for how they're feeling and what they're going through. Because I think we're so hard on ourselves. Sometimes you do need that person to help give you the grace that you can't give yourself. Cause sometimes that's where we get stuck too, because we get stuck in this like all or nothing thinking. And
Hmm.
if I can't do it perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all, and I can meet them where they're at. And that certification really helped me kind of, I bring that little bit of softness in my coaching that I can see how it helps women move through these roadblocks.
Oh, I love that. Yes, because it's definitely, it can't be all or nothing, especially when you're starting something new, right?
Mm-mm. No, it's just, and I think it's a such a trap that we fall into, and it's not our fault. And sometimes I almost feel like you need that. We're like looking for permission of like,
Yeah.
is this okay to do it this way? And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it that way.
Right? At least you're, and it's almost comes to the point, like, I remember even telling my coach and I was like, "Oh my gosh," because she had all her workouts on the app, and I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I did 2 sets." And she's like, "No, but you did 2 sets, like, we're
Yes.
not looking at it like I only did 2 sets." She's like,
Yes.
"I'm celebrating you for doing 2." And I was like, "Well, that is how I need to look at it." Because, I
Yes.
kind of beat myself up, like, she has 4 sets on here and I can only do 2. And she's like, "But you did 2." And I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, thank you."
And I think that's a really important thing for everybody to recognize, no matter what you're working on, whatever goals, whether it's health and fitness or changing your career or whatever, like you have to celebrate the small wins. Every little step forward is so important to celebrate. And so maybe you didn't hit everything that you're supposed to do, but you hit this thing and you need to celebrate that. That's
Yeah.
where that forward momentum comes from. Because if you're constantly beating yourself up over not doing it right, you're eventually not going to want to show up at all. It feels like shit. And that's what's so important to me as a coach is I want to be everyone's number one hype girl. Like I'm like, hell yeah, you're crushing it. I
Yeah.
don't care you got so 1 out of 3 workouts. You did 1 workout. Life's crazy for you right now. You're showing up. That rules.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that goes so much farther. And it's like when you said earlier, like, yes, now we have this mindset, we understand it. Like me, I talk about sunshine moments all the time, right? But it doesn't mean that I still don't have those moments. And sometimes I still need someone else to remind me, like, hey, you're doing a good job, like
Mhm.
you're still doing this, you're still doing that. I was like, because I mean, mine is my steps, and I beat myself up over this all the time because
Mm.
learning in this space is like I literally need to set an alarm to like go for a walk because next, like when we hit record, I'm like, how is it already like 1 o'clock? Like, what is happening over here to the day? Right. And I'm like, I don't even want to look at my watch because I know my steps are going to be terrible. But clearly, my daughters and I are going to be taking a walk this evening, and have to figure it out. But it does really help because, yes, we know how to reframe and we don't know how to do the things, but we're also human.
Mhm.
So I think when you are hiring a coach, you need to hire a coach who also has a coach
Yeah. Yeah.
because nobody is at the level. I don't care who you are, like, nobody is at the level that they don't need help from someone else.
Mhm.
So if I go to hire somebody, even now for, me investing in whether it's business or fitness or whatever, if they don't have somebody there working with, that makes me question it, right? Because I always for myself, like I always want to be learning. I always want to be growing. I always want to be better than I was last year, and when you don't acknowledge that you need that, it's almost like when somebody's not working with a coach, like, do you think you made it? Like, do you think you're there? Or maybe are you just taking a break? Because I get that too. I get that too of taking a break and really taking some time to implement. But I do think that we can all learn and we can all grow, we can all evolve and be better in whatever it is. So my advice personally is when I hire people, I want to hire someone who's also working with a coach. Like you said, you're a coach, but you're still working with someone else to help you.
Absolutely, and I think I couldn't agree more. I think whoever you are spending this money on investing in, they should be just as invested in their personal growth too, and that's actually like there's a lot of people have feelings in the fitness industry about certifications and keeping them current, but what I think is cool about keeping your certifications current is that means that you're continuing education to keep them current because
Hmm.
this is always evolving and always changing. And what we learned 5 years ago, even a year ago, there's different science. So I think it really is important. If you are seeking that growth, that person that you are seeking growth with should be seeking the same thing.
Yeah, 100%. And I know that you talked earlier about the moment that you kind of like tried on the shorts and you were like, oh my God, I don't hate my body anymore. But I always love like a good client testimony or something. And I was thinking of maybe or more than one, it doesn't matter. But like a moment maybe when you saw a woman, maybe she realized what her body was capable of, or you watched them have the same like realization that you did. Because I mean, that's really the best part when somebody
Yes.
starts to have that transformation because of the help that you gave them, right?
So, one of my favorite moments was with a client, and we were having a conversation, and I heard her mindset shift from I am no longer, it's like, of course, she would love to lose some weight, but she's like, I'm no longer attached to the scale weight. I'm just so enjoying feeling good in my body and getting stronger and feeling good in my workouts. And like to hear her be at a point where it's like, yeah, I'm not tying my worth and my well being to what a number on the scale is. I'm going by how good I feel in my body. And that just gives me all the feels because that's what I want for everybody. I think it's totally fine to like have a physique goal and want to lose weight. But at the same time, my priority is that you feel good first and foremost. Because if you feel like
Yeah.
shit, what is the point?
Well, and it's so funny that you say that because I'm so irritated with the scale right now on a personal level because I do feel really good, right?
Mhm.
And realizing obviously muscle weighs more than fat, all the
Yeah.
things, right? But I get on the scale and I'm like, how is that even possible? How is it possible that that number is going up? So I feel the same. I'm like, I'm not going based on that. I'm going, and this is what was so crazy is that as a mom of girls,
Mm.
I've talked about this. I think I had someone else on the podcast that was a fitness coach, and I feel this huge responsibility to talk positively about my body.
Yes.
To like, if I try something on and I want to change my outfit and they're there, I don't say like, I feel fat or something.
Mm.
It's like, oh, I just don't like I say, I don't like the way that this outfit looks, like
Mhm.
I make it about the clothes, not about my body, and really showing them like what body positivity is because I know how young those feelings and those thoughts can start. And I don't know, like this responsibility of every time, like if I'm trying on an outfit and I'm looking in the mirror, like I just feel them looking at me and I
Mhm.
feel them like learning and I feel them taking it all in. Right. So I hadn't put on a bathing suit in probably almost a year because I mean, I had all my surgeries last year
Mhm.
and, I was recovering and then it was like winter. So why was I putting on a bathing suit? And I was going to go to the spa last week. And I said, you know what? I'm actually going to go in the jacuzzi because I haven't been for so long and I tried on my bathing suit and the girls weren't home at the time, but like I felt really good when I tried my bathing suit on and I'm like, this is weird. And so we were talking about, them needing to go get new bathing suits. I need to get new bathing suits. And I said, well, let's everybody try on what we have, and see what fits us and what doesn't fit us. And I go into my closet and I'm like, I literally had 3 bathing suits that still had tags on them. Bathing suits that probably looked cute online. And so I bought them and
Mhm.
then they didn't fit or whatever. So we start trying them on and the girls were like, mom, what is happening? Like they were so supportive and they were so excited. And one in particular that I literally almost gave away, my oldest was like, Mom, you just need to get a little bit more of a tan, but I love that one the best. I was like, a tan I can fix, a
Yeah.
tan I can fix. But
Yep.
it was just so cool, not only to see how excited they were for me, because now, like, that I've had the revisions and I've had everything from going through the double mastectomy and
Mhm.
last year just being so like, and that was just a crazy thing in itself because I also didn't want to scare them, but I also didn't want to hide from them,
Yeah.
because we're a girl household here. So
Yeah.
we would like, we get out of the shower and then we see each other changing and all the things. And I really tried not to hide it, but then navigating all of that. So like last weekend, that was super, super cool. And I was like, wait, I actually don't need to go buy bathing suits. I just need to take the tags off the ones that I already had. But it's the responsibility that I feel towards my daughters to show them what it's like to love their body. And that was not something that I had really given a lot of thought to. But at
Mhm.
8 and 12, it's like I think about it all the time now.
Important, so important. And I mean, what's crazy is like my mom never spoke ill about her body either. And I remember we'd even have conversations like when I'd be having like a meltdown as a teenager with my body dysmorphia. And she's like, I don't understand like where this comes from because I was so mindful. And I think it is so important. It is a responsibility. And even if you don't have children, I think that we have a responsibility of like not talking about our own bodies, other women's bodies in a derogatory way. I mean, I think there's enough just like yuckiness. Like, why are we picking
Yeah.
apart our bodies? Like, they do so much for us. And I think that's the thing that comes where self-love comes from. If we can come from a place of love in that way, it grows from that. And it's just so cool that you had that moment with your daughters and like to be able to see them at this like very impressionable age and to give them that gift of not feeling like, oh, well, I learned from mom that I should just hate my body. Like,
Yeah.
so cool because I think it's so important.
Well, like you said, there's going to be enough other ways out there that things can still happen, but
Yeah,
I just want to know at the end of the day that hopefully at least that part of it is not going to come from me.
absolutely. Because they're like little sponges and they pick up on everything. And if you're picking yourself apart, even if they don't realize it, they'll take that on.
100%. 100%. Can you share something like maybe there's a woman listening today or woman watching today that you wish that she would like take away from this episode or something that she would actually like an action step that she could take and you
Mm.
wish that like that they would just do after this episode, one step they could take?
I think, okay, this is a big one. I think for a lot of women, especially in kind of like the age that we're at, I think so many of us spend so much time caring for others. And I think that we fall by the wayside. And I think it can feel really overwhelming of like, I'm not doing anything for myself and I don't know where to start. And maybe flipping that, like, health and fitness can feel like such a big thing. And instead of looking at it like you have to get your health and fitness right and get in all your workouts, it's like, what if this is just a small way to care for yourself and show up for yourself? Even if it's just like a little 5-minute walk, just some you time, I think is a really great way to frame it because you're coming at all of this from a place of love and care for yourself that so many of us don't really get the time to take for ourselves.
I think that's huge because yeah, I think and a lot of my audience is, moms and like or you're taking care of aging parents or whatever's happening.
Mm.
But, a lot of especially what I realized last year is you really can't be the best for everybody else if you're not the best for yourself. Like,
No.
you can't put yourself last because physically, mentally, emotionally, it will wreck you.
Absolutely, absolutely, and if maybe you are at a point in your life, because I feel like for so many of us, this is the time in our lives where it happens where, like, maybe you wanna make changes, maybe you wanna make a career change and you don't even know where to start, like, start by taking care of yourself. That's
Yeah,
where that clarity, that confidence can come from is, like, kinda getting yourself right first, and then you can move through that with a little bit more ease when you're literally just, like, regulating your nervous system and putting yourself first so you can come from a place of power.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think when you start to take control of those
Mhm.
little things in your
Yeah.
life, you're like, "Ooh, I have control of this. What else do I have control of?"
For
And realizing that,
real.
like, life is not always happening to us. There's a lot of things that we can control. And, you know, I think a lot of it, especially as you go through hard things, it's easy to fall into that mindset of, I mean, it's almost becomes like a victim mindset, right? Like, it's easy
Mhm.
to fall into that and to think that well, there's nothing I can do. This is just life. This is what's happened. And I mean, if there's one thing that I could tell the audience is like, no, you have so much more control than you think.
Mm.
You really,
Mhm.
really do, over so many things. And once you focus on that and stop focusing on all the things you can't control, that's when you start to take your power back. And that's when you start to be like, you know what? Maybe I can create this life.
Yes, absolutely, and I think that control like you said, I love that, like, there's so much we can't control. What can you control? You. You're in
Yeah.
control of your health and well-being, so it starts with taking those small steps. Because 'cause I'll say, like, lifting has given me strength beyond just physical strength. It's taught me how strong I am in so many ways. When you're literally facing resistance, you're like, "Oh, I just did this hard thing." It's so empowering.
Yeah.
And I think coming back to that is a really great way to like center yourself and discover how strong you are.
I love that. So, for all those listening, where can they find you? What are you offering right now?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, Electric Lettuce Coaching, and I'm actually I don't know when this is dropping, but I am launching an 8-week group week oh words 8-week group coaching program. We're going to start after July 6th. It's for anybody who just needs a reset. Maybe you're totally new to lifting or you've had a break. This is all about just like getting confident with lifting, developing the skills in a really supportive and group with other women, support and accountability, but also keeping it really fun.
Okay. And is that virtual or in person?
Virtual, yeah, it's totally
Perfect.
virtual. We'll be doing like group calls, we'll have a chat going on, programming's through an app, and it's really hands-on. There's exercise demos for everything. So no matter if you've never lifted before or you've had a break, there's so much support along the way. So you feel like you have a coach, but you can do your workouts on your own time in your own space.
I love that. Well, and I think the other thing too, and I think that we're a testament to that, is about these groups that you get in is like, yes, you're getting a coach, but it's also about the women that you're going to meet in the group. Because I had a group that I was in, and at the end of it, there's three of us that became really, really good friends. And when we talked about what the expectations were for the group, and not that this is your coaching or program by any means, but there was a lot of things that we thought were going to happen that didn't happen. But at the end of the day, we were like, but look at these amazing friendships that we got out of it,
Mhm.
And if you come and you show up and you do the things and you are maybe someone currently that doesn't have that type of support in your life, Meg's coaching and groups like this is where you can find that support. And some of my best biz besties I've never even met in person.
Mhm.
They're all virtual. It's all online. But that is the types of rooms and groups that you get in where you start to find the support that you need in your life, like you said. So on those hard days, you have somebody to call, you have somebody to message, all those things. So that is
Absolutely.
also, for me, another amazing thing about being part of a group program of people that are trying to do the same thing that you're doing is you're not just getting support from the coach, but you're getting support from the other women that are in the group as well.
That are going through what you're going through. And that's actually what I'm most excited about. Like when I knew I wanted to make this career transformation, the thing that's really been lighting me up is creating a community of supportive women lifting each other up. I think the world needs more of that. We're so powerful and we need more people helping to lift each other up and celebrating each other. And like you said, like sometimes that is the biggest gift that you get out of a, whatever group program is maybe it's not the thing you thought you were going to get, it's these connections that you get.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I'll drop all of your information in the show notes for anybody that wants to follow along with Meg, anybody that has any questions. Her DMs are open. She's in there. She has great content. And it is really, at the end of the day, like, it's mind, body, soul. It's everything all together. And while it might seem overwhelming, like she said, if you can just start with one little thing,
Mhm.
then you can really start to make that transformation. So I so appreciate you coming on the show. I love this conversation. I knew I was going to, and I
Me
always
too.
learn something from my guests. And I love this so much. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I feel like we could talk forever.
I know, right? I was like, then there will be a part two.
Yeah. Part 2 coming soon.
Part two, stay tuned. So, for all those of you guys listening, if you guys love this episode, Megan, I would so love if you would share it, if you would tag it, maybe send it to somebody else who you're like, oh my gosh, she could totally use Meg in her life. Send it to them, and we would be so, so appreciative. And until then, I hope you guys go create some sunshine in your lives today.
Bye.